it might be taking DIY a little bit too far. I know I could probably go to the hairdresser. I've always had short hair. Maybe shoulder length was the longest that I had them, from like 15 to 25. I also had a pixie cut. I also had a lot of colors in them. And during the pandemic, on my 27th or 28th birthday, I don't remember, I asked my partner to shave my hair. I wanted to know what I would look like with shaved hair, and everybody said that it felt liberating. It did not to me at least. So I grew my hair out very long, and then we moved to the city where we live in now, and I never had a hairdresser here. So I grew them about like waist length. So then my mom, who used to be a barber back in the days, she cut them for me Christmas of last year. So she cut them about like here, and now they've grown again. It's like I don't want to be attached to my hair. It's always something that I've never felt attached to before I had them this length. My hair is something maybe I'm holding on to, or it feels like maybe, I don't know if short hair will still suit me the way it did before. So I'm hesitant, and I don't want to be. And that's the main thing. I don't want to be hesitant about cutting my hair, so I might just do it. Yeah, that's where I'm at. And maybe it's a bit too intense to put all of that thought into why I kept my hair long, but that's the way it is. So all of that to say that I'm about to order scissors online and everything I need to try to do it myself in a little bit less of an hectic way than doing it at 11:30 on a Saturday night. So it's Sunday, by the way. Sunday, October 19th. And aside from thinking about cutting my hair, I'm starting the blouse that I printed the pattern for in the last vlog, the last Maker's Journal vlog. So that's my main thing today, is sewing that blouse. Let's just make my second coffee first. Let's go. Actually, before we start with the sewing part of this vlog, I wanted to catch you up on what I've been reading and what I've been knitting. So I'm still reading Threads of Life. I made a ton of progress. It's very interesting. It's very people focused, which I highly enjoy, but it does ask a bit more focus of me than the previous book, which is weird because the previous book was more history focused. Each chapter has a one-word title. Sometimes it's like community, place, loss, value, captivity, and each of the projects or people she talks about has to do with the title. So let's say in captivity she was talking about a project she did with prisoners, embroidery and prisoners, which was very interesting, by the way. So I would highly recommend it if you are interested in learning about maybe not necessarily the history of embroidery and knitting and tapestry, weaving and all of that, but more about the political and social impacts that it had and that it can have in people's life. As my fiction read, I just started last night Female Fantasy by Iman Aririkia. I read her two previous books. They're very funny, they're lighthearted, they're camp, and it's always a romp. It's always very much like ingrained in pop culture, which I like, and I think Female Fantasy will be no different. It's basically an ode to romance reader and to romance books, and I like myself a good enemy to lovers. So that's what I'm reading. Knitting wise, I am almost done with the first kid sweater that I'm currently making. It is nowhere near perfect. It was my first time doing a circular yoke, I think you call it. And when I went to attach the sleeves, I made a couple of big holes right at the underarm, so I guess I'm gonna have to fix that. So I tried to do magic loop for this sleeve, and not the sleeve, sorry, the cuff. I hated it. I hate it actually. It's not fun. Final product is not good, and also the cuff is way too small. That might not have to do with magic loop though, but I just don't like it. So what I did is order shorties, very short needles to knit small circumferences, and I can't wait to see if that's gonna solve my problem, because I want to knit socks and I want to keep on making maybe like kids sweaters, but I don't want to have to do magic loop. But other than that, I'm really happy with it. In the right time I will sew the collar, and then I'm also gonna do a letter on top, and then I have to do a slightly bigger one for the other kid I'm making this for, their brothers. And because I'm waiting for my shorties to keep on knitting the sweaters, I casted on a new project last night. It's for a coworker of mine who's also a friend, and she is not currently working for personal reasons, and I told her I would knit her a beanie. So last time I saw her, we went for brunch and then we went to the yarn store, and she picked this yarn that matches her winter coat. It's a weekend hat by Petite Knit, and it's funny because I started knitting this hat with another yarn for my partner last year when I was a beginner. I'm still a beginner at knitting, but very, very much a beginner, and I found it so hard and I messed up the ribbing pattern. So it's kind of fun to do the same pattern again and realize how easy it is now. That's the actual yarn. It's super cute. Now for the main event, let's start by cutting the fabric. Here's the actual fabric, and here's the lining. The lining is more of a beige yellowy color, whereas this is very white, stark white. But I do think that it will balance each other out, or at least I hope. Now what I'm gonna do is place my fabric and place the pattern on it to try to make sure that the stars are in the perfect places in the pattern. I think I'm gonna start with the front and the back. I did the front. I need to do the sleeves now, and then the back. Do it all over again for the lining. And then we're on to the fun part, which is sewing. But also, I really need to oil my machine before I sew. You can hear that it's not working properly. So I need to tend to that before I sew this blouse. Alright, so all of the parts are cut. Now what I want to do is serge together the lining and the outside fabric, wrong face together, turn them inside out, iron them, and then I think I can sew the parts together. But I need to do that first, I think. I don't know, I'm loosely following the patterns because there are some differences in the final product that I want to have and the actual pattern. I'm just crossing my finger that everything's gonna turn out all right. Moment of truth number 1. Let's turn these pieces inside out. I'm wondering if I'll have to top stitch around everything, because right now it looks a bit like a pillowcase. I think it'll work. I'm confident. Or delusional. It's a fine line. I'm looking at the pattern, and the first thing I have to do is sew this little, they call it the front bias bound placket. I've never done that before. First, I'm gonna find the front piece. I have to pin this wrong side on this. Placket is sewn and cut. Now, if I did it right, I'm supposed to flip it. I'm already seeing a little bit of a problem here. We're gonna iron this now just to see if everything's all right. I think the issue might be that there's a little bit of bulk since I lined everything first. Honestly, it's kind of exciting because I've never done a placket before, so it's so it's fun to make something new and learn new skills. So the stitching at the bottom is not good, but I don't think you're gonna be able to see it that much because there's gonna be kind of a big bow over it, so it should be all right. So let's sew the sleeves and the sides, and then we'll regroup. Honestly, I'm pretty sure that at this point it looks like something right out of a cult. I also think it's gonna be way too long. Okay. First thing I'm gonna do is cut a good chunk of length. It looks like a poncho. Like it's giving cult / hippie. But I think I can see the vision. It's gonna be all gathered around here, so already that's gonna help. And then once I cut a good chunk of length, I think like the pattern here is cute, and with the gathered sleeve, I think we're going somewhere. I'm trusting the vision. I tried something off camera. It kind of worked, which I'm happy about, but I'm a bit tired of this project for today. So I think I'll show you what I've done, and then I'll put it aside and go knit a little and pick it back up another day. What I did is gather all around with my gathering foot, which sort of worked, but not the best. Then I added the bias tape lower than my gather, cut the excess gather, and now I'm at the part where I need to fold and sew the second part of the bias tape. So I did cut my hair. I feel a bit more like myself, I would say. It feels like it frames my face a little bit more. It's probably not totally equal in the back, but I'm gonna ask my partner to do a checkup and just equalize everything. I also tried to do curtain bangs, but my middle part is a little bit left leaning, and I kept it that way because it's always been parted that way, and I was scared that if I parted it exactly down the middle, I would mess up everything. So it's not like you can't see the curtain bangs that much in that side, so in that way it looks a little bit more like a side bang, but overall I'm really happy. I think I'm gonna maybe do some touch up to do a bit more face framing, but when I pull up my hair, I think it also looks super cute. And you know what else looks super cute? This amazing cardigan that my mother-in-law knitted for me this summer for my birthday. And I just got it because she had to reblock it a second time because it was a tad small on me. And now it's perfect, and I've been wearing it for 2 days in a row. Last time we talked, I wasn't sure about my blouse, so I kind of just put it aside, stopped the vlog, and knew that I would come back a week later, which is today. So that's where I'm at, and that's what we're gonna continue doing today. But first, I want to talk yarn because I'm kind of a knitting craze right now, and I'm a very monogamous knitter. I've always knitted only one project at a time, and right now it's the beanie, the weekend beanie by Petite Knit that I'm making for a friend. But there's like 1,000 projects that I want to start at the same time. I just bought the pattern for the bonnet, which is kind of a mix, play on word between a bonnet and a balaclava. It's a very popular pattern on Etsy, and I want to start knitting that. And I also bought perfect shade of green mohair. It's the ballerina chunky mohair by Sadness Garn, because I want to knit a second chunky beanie, chunky mohair beanie. I did one last year in this kind of periwinkle color, and I still have one ball of mohair from that. And what I think I'm gonna do, because I bought 3 for the beanie, the green beanie, is because I have a blue beanie and I'm gonna have a green one, I'm gonna make a striped scarf that I can wear with both, and it's gonna be fantastic. I don't remember if I talked about it in one of the last videos, but I bought shorties. I think the case is horrendous, but I think it's gonna be very helpful. They look like my other needles, the long ones that I have, interchangeable, that are also a cheap pair from Amazon, so I think it should be okay. The only thing I'm a bit confused about is the hardware. Like on the I don't know how you call that, but the hardware on it, it's moving. And like this is very short. It's gonna be perfect for the little tiny cuffs I'm doing on the sweaters. So I'm quite happy about that. And reading wise, I am still reading Threads of Life, but I'm almost done. I have a chapter and a half left, and I kind of can't wait to be done. It's good, it's very interesting, but I kind of want to get on to the next one. So I think that's all I had to say. It feels weird sometimes when I do one vlog, because this is all gonna be in one vlog, but over the span of 2 weeks, because I feel like I haven't talked for like forever, but to you guys it's a couple of minutes, so I hope I don't repeat myself too much. Let's talk about the blouse. And one thing I realized while watching Sydney Graham's 24-hour fall wardrobe vlog is that because she did a pair of pants that were kind of lacy and she put a lining underneath, and I probably could have gotten away with just basting the 2 fabrics together without having to serge them together and then turn them inside out. I'm gonna change my thread in my machine, sew the bias binding, and then we're gonna get on cracking. I want to finish this today. So I did one side of the binding and oh my god, what happened here? Honestly, this binding is horrible. I don't know how I managed that, but look at how unequal that is. You know what I think doesn't help either is the thread. It's not a good thread. It's thick and it's plasticky. I bought it to quilt the blouse that I made out of this same fabric and it worked. But I think for that, it's not the best. I think I would have been better off using maybe a white thread, even on a blue binding. I'm gonna finish it and then we'll regroup. Okay, let me show you where we're at. If you don't look too closely, the sleeves are super nice. I like how they look. If you don't look close at all, this is fine, but I still think I might redo it. But the problem is the length. Wait, I think here it will be better. So it's too long, and what I think I'm gonna do is cut right a little bit under that point here, the junction, so that we keep all the shape here of the star. So I think to make it maybe here, like this. I think that's a great length. Do you guys feel like it looks like a hockey jersey a little? I don't know. I like the sleeves though. They need a bit of finishing, but they're nice. So I think what I'm gonna do for now is just put the project aside and start maybe knitting the bala bonnet and make myself a tee. Now is the moment to really get cozy. I have my tea. I have a donut that's a little bit stale, but still a little bit good. I have the beanie I'm knitting that I'm gonna put aside actually for now. And I've got everything to start the bala bonnet. It is so gloomy outside. It's 2:30 right now and it feels like it's about to get dark. I hate this so far. The needles are too big. It's not fun to knit, but I think it'll get maybe better. Let's hope it'll get better. But I tried this tea and it is perfect. Step one is done. This is knitting up so fast. Obviously, it's 2 strand plus big ass needles. So I feel good about having a project that is going by so fast. It's kind of satisfying. So I still have a lot to go, but it's still knitting up pretty fast, which I'm happy about. But I'm gonna take a break and make soup. I'm not following any recipe. I took a sweet potato. I also have this, I don't know how you call that in English. In French, it's a courge poivrée, so maybe like a peppered squash? I don't know. Anyways, I have this. I'm gonna put a couple of carrots, this old, almost wilted cauliflower, a bunch of leek, garlic, reporting live from the couch again. It's now Sunday. I spent my evening yesterday and then this morning knitting the bonnet, so I'm almost done. I have about a couple of rows left of this cord, and then I'm doing the same thing on the other side, and then I'll be able to wear it, I guess. I need to weave in the ends. It's not perfect. I think I had some issues here when I picked up the stitches. It's a bit too high. I'm gonna wait until it's done before I make any quick judgment. So today's plans are finishing this, making French toasts, and then trying to finish the blouse. I gotta say, this looks quite good. I'm so full. It was really, really, really good. I went a little overboard with the quantity, and also it's like the easiest thing in the world. I cooked down some apples with butter, brown sugar, and a little bit of chai spices, and let it kind of make its own caramel. And then I made a very basic French toast recipe, so eggs, milk, a little bit of vanilla, and also added chai spices, and that's about it. Added a little bit of granola, added whipped cream just for the sake of it, maple syrup, and it was good. It was really good. But now that I am completely stuffed, let's talk about the blouse. So I really have to do something about that collar binding. It's horrible, and I know I'm not going to wear it that way. So I don't know if it's a stupid idea, but what I was thinking was just putting another binding on top of it. I was thinking that if I roll the binding on itself and then add a new binding on top of it, I would get the kind of chunky effect, and I could just sew it with my regular white thread, because I think it looks cute on the blue around the sleeve, so I know it'll be okay here. And then I could just cut the excess and add the new tie. My bobbin ran out with only this much to sew. Before I can judge the final product, I need to give it a good press. think I like it. I think I more than like it. And now this part here is a little bit too big, the opening. But I think that with the tie and the length is perfect, and it's big and bulky, but it's not too much at the same time, at least not for me. It is still giving a little bit hockey jersey slash hippie hoodie, but I think I'm here for it. The back placement, the front placement, the sleeves, super cute. Honestly, I'm so happy. Yay! Okay, so I made myself a little tea. It's a cream of Earl Grey, and I really like this mug. I thrifted it about a year ago, and what's special about it is that I grew up with the same mug at home, and my mom still has it. So it feels both nostalgic and also fun to have a matching mom. Not a matching mom, a matching mom. No, a matching mug with my mom. And I just wanted to have a little chat before I close out this vlog. I'm really happy with both of my makes. The blouse is not perfect, but I think it's at the same time exactly what I envisioned for it. And the bonnet, the only thing, well, it's done first of all, but the only thing is the construction of the head is a little bit alien looking, and I think that's my own fault. There was a hair stuck. I think I picked up the stitches maybe a little bit too far. I don't really know how I did it, but I did it, and it still looks nice, I think. It looks like a bonnet, but you see here, there's like a little poof that I wish wasn't there, but other than that, I think it's cute. So yeah, I might also make another one in another color, we'll see. But other than that, I have no idea what my next projects will be. I have a couple of upcycling and mending things in my piles. I also want to make the Celine blouse and start my Olga sweater and start on Christmas gifts that I'm making and start the beanie and the scarves that I talked about a little bit in the vlog. So a lot of ideas, I just don't know where I'll start. Before I close out this vlog, I wanted to talk about books a little bit because I just finished the second book in my fall curriculum that I was talking about, and I'm gonna show you the next one on the pile. It's The Fabric of Civilization, How Textiles Made the World. But also, when I made a TikTok about my fall curriculum, a lot of people said that I should read The Subversive Stitch, Embroidery and the Making of the Feminine, and it looks very interesting. So I was wondering if I should keep on reading this one because it has to do with embroidery, and that's what I just read. So I would kind of keep furthering my knowledge in that specific area, or if I should read my book on fabric and then come back to The Subversive Stitch. I recently bought this book called Quilt Alchemy by Sarah Larson Buscaglia. Her brand is Farm and Folk, and it's all about natural dyes and quilting, obviously. But there's a couple of projects in there, but I was mainly interested in just getting inspired by this book and reading about natural dyes and how to dye your own fabric and hand stitching and quilting and everything. So I think I'm gonna dive into that pretty soon. I have a bunch of projects on the way, so you might want to consider subscribing if you don't want to miss anything, and let me know what you're working on. I'm always so interested in getting to know what you guys are working on and what are your projects. So on that note, I'll see you in the next one.